This is a review of the circles quiz and conic sections, but most of the questions are on circles. But anyway, here's the first page of the review. So it is the conic sections. It says use the image below of the double cones to sketch a plane that would produce and gives the cross sections of a parabola. So if I use this plane right here, I would get a parabola shape. And if I did plane parallel to one of the bases, I would get a circle. Did a plane perpendicular to both bases, you would get the hyperbola. And if I did a plane that is not parallel to one of the bases, then I get an ellipse. So identify the cross section created in each picture. So let me say that again. Identify the cross section that is created in each picture. So here's the plane right here that causes an ellipse. This plane intersecting both cones causes a hyperbola. Just one of the cones at a slant here causes a parabola, and the plane parallel to the base produces a circle. The next page, it says given the equation x minus 6 squared plus y minus 1 squared equal 4. Let me make this full screen here 100%. So determine the following statements. The equation represents a circle with a center -6, -1. You want to do the opposites of these two here. So it's +6, +1 is the circle. A radius of 4, no, it's the square root of that, which would be 2. So both of these are incorrect here. A circle that intersects the x-axis twice. So I drew a picture here. It's going to intersect the x-axis twice here. So one's here and one's here. The equation represents a circle that does not intersect the y-axis. So here's the y-axis, and this circle does not intersect the y-axis. And then given this equation here, determine the following. So x plus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 16. So the radius is not 16, it's the square root of that, which is 4. So I check that box. Then the opposite of +2 is -2. The opposite of -2 is +2. So the center is at -2, 2. And then we already talked about this. The square root of 16 is 4. Intersects the x-axis twice right here. And it intersects the y-axis once. So here's my center, -2, 2. And let me say that again. The center is at -2, +2. And then I want a radius of 4. And here I use the compass to make this. So you can just sketch this by going, excuse me, 4 to the right, 4 up, 4 left, and 4 down, and then draw a circle. And see, that's the only question where you really need to look at the drawing here to see if it intersects the x-axis and the y-axis. Identify the coordinates of the center and identify the length of the radius. So here, the center is there's nothing added or subtracted here to x squared. So the center is at 0 on the x. And then the opposite of -2 is +2. So 0, 2. And then the square root of 9 is 3. So the way I graphed the other points there, I went to the center, 0, 2. 3 to the right, 3, 2. 3 to the left, -3, 2. Up 3 is 0, 5. And down 3, 0, -1. And then drew a circle there. So here's a little bit of math you have to do. The radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. And then looking at this, the equation here, the opposite of 1 is -1. Opposite of 1 is +1. The radius is the square root of 25, which is 5. In order to draw the circle, you go to -1, 1. 5 to the right is 4, 1. 5 to the left, -6, 1. Up 5, -1, 6. Down 5, -1, -4. And then the square root of 25 is 5. And that's how you get the radius. Take the square root of this number here. All right, and then convert this into standard form. So x squared, and then you get the x's together, plus 10x, and then plus something that goes in here, and then y squared. And since there's not a y term, so you can just leave it like that, and then subtract 24 from both sides of the equation, you get -24. And then to complete the square here, you do 10 divided by 2, which is 5, and then 5 squared is 25. So since I added 25 on the left, I need to add 25 on the right. And then you look at this perfect square trinomial. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 25 is 5. Since this term is positive, you put a plus and then square that. And then y squared by itself equal 1. The center then is opposite of 5 is -5. Nothing added or subtracted here, so the y value of the center is 0, and the radius square root of 1, which is 1. In the next equation, you collect the terms together here, x squared plus 16x. The first thing I did is subtract 56. And then collect the y terms together, y squared plus 2y. And then I leave a blank space next to both of those. And since I subtracted 56 from both sides, I get a -56 here. Completing the square for the x's, so half of 16 is 2, squared is 64, so I added 64 on the left. I have to add 64 on the right. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then 1 squared is 1. Since I added 1 on the right, I have to add it on the left. So look at these three terms. Square root of x squared is x. Square root of 64 is 8. This is a plus, so I put a plus and then square. Square root of y squared is y. Square root of 1 is 1. This is a plus, so I put a plus. Equals 9. And then the center, opposite of 8 is -8. Opposite of 1 is -1. Square root of 9 is 3, so the radius is 3. Center at 0, 9, radius 1. Well, that's the next problem. So let me go back here. Center -8, -1, radius 3. And then the last one here, collecting the x terms together. There's only one, x squared. Collecting the y terms, y squared minus 18y. Subtract 80 from both sides, you get a -80 here. And then -18 divided by 2 is -9. -9 squared in parentheses is 81, so that's add 81 here on the left. I have to add it on the right. And then just bring down this x squared and look at these three terms here. Square root of y squared is y. Square root of 81 is 9. This is minus squared, and you get 1. All right, that's the first review here. It's also a second review. So let me just leave this on this page here and stop the video.